Hello and welcome to another episode. This is episode 6 of the Acolyte. Oh dear, and the dog's already moving. Anyway, which is more interesting than the actual show, believe it or not. So episode 6. It was boring. I was bored. I was bored throughout. They split it in, tale of three perspectives. So you've got May on the ship with Saul. You've got the Jedi High Council who've picked up a transmission from Saul, but it's a bit, it's all staticky. Not a real word, I know. But it's full of static, so they can't get the full message. They end up having to go off to look for Saul. Meanwhile, we're on an unnamed planet. And you've got Smilo Ren and Osha there. And he's just pitching the dark side to her. That's it. It can be told, the fucking badger thing. The sniffing badger. It's boring. It didn't contribute anything to the episode. All it did was sniff a few times, bugger off, sniff a few times, bugger off. You get what I'm saying? And also we kept having close-ups of future merchandise. That was boring. It didn't need to be there. It didn't do anything for the show. But anyway, Smilo's trying to pitch in the dark side to Osha. That was it. There's of course. So she went again. It's the same as last week where she's laid down and the camera pans with her going up. Coming back to consciousness. She's a bit lost and groggy, and then she sees Smilo going out, so she follows him. He goes into, I don't know if this is supposed to be like some Ghost of Tsushima reference, but he goes into this spring where he can have a wash and a bit of a swim, and she gets his lightsaber, and bear in mind there must be a good 10 plus feet from each other, and she says, "Do not move," with a lightsaber. Do not move. And he doesn't move because, he knows what we know, that you can't get me anywhere, you daft cow. But she points the lightsaber at him like it was a pistol. Do not move or I'll open fire. That's the only things that were missing. But that's what it was. And he says, "I'm not going to move." And then he says, "If you're not going to join me, can I come out and get me claws?" And then, he gets dressed and they wander off. There's a bit of back and forth. What do you want? Why are you here? What do you want with me? What have you done with my sister? Is she alive? Yes. Is Sol alive? Yes. Then we start going through all this. They really are painting the Jedi to be bad here. They're bad. Stop with this. When in the interviews where the actor said there's no good or evil in Star Wars, bollocks. He either hadn't read the script yet, even after he's done the show, he still doesn't know. But they're really painting the Jedi as bad here, especially Leslie Edlund's wife. She's definitely corruptible. And we got a white Jedi. Woo! He was a skinny little piece of shit who would die in instants. But woo! Representation, finally. I don't care about that shit. Best TV show's Warrior, where everyone's in it and everyone's an ass. And everyone gets corrupted to some point in the end. Even the nice Southern officer in Warrior, Lee. Even he ends up being corrupted to a point. But anyway, back to this show, unfortunately. That's it. There's talking and walking. A lot of it is talking and walking. Apart from the badger thing sniffing. Right, so on Unknown Planet, he's giving her the pitch on how he wants her to join the dark side. It ends with her trying on the helmet. How this helmet fits her perfectly, I do not know. That is bizarre. she's got, a couple of inches of hair, that he doesn't have. His hair isn't braided, so it's not as thick, and it fits perfectly to her eyes. How? Magic, did he readjust it while he was putting it back together? He does mention what material it's made out of. We all know that it was cortosis, but he does mention it, which once again means somebody somewhere knows the stuff. They know a little bit about a little bit, at least. So why haven't you exercised it and used it? So that third little skit ends with her trying on the helmet. Because he says, do you want to try it on? She says, no, I don't trust you. And he says, and so you shouldn't. But you should trust yourself. So she tries it on and, some are going to say, oh, Vader, it's like Darth Vader because of her breathing. I'm like, no, but I guarantee you the shoes are going to go there. I'm going to watch a Grizzy video later and some fucking retard idiots are going to be like, oh, it sounds like Vader, it sounds like Vader. They're going to do the comparison. I promise you, someone's done the comparison already. So that's that pitch. And it keeps flicking in and out and in and out, and it's boring. Easily the most interesting part of this would have been Smilo, Ren and Osha. But we get the others because they needed something to do, I don't know. And they call it the Force again. It's back to being the Force. It's not the thread anymore. It's the Force again. But all right. So that's how their bit ends. In between that, Saul does know who it is. He was playing along this whole time because he ends up stunning her. And wouldn't you know, it's 30 minutes, and in between the other characters, it runs for about 30 minutes before all the credits, which for some reason adds about 15 minutes to the show. But he knew all along, he was playing along, and, she tries her best to play along, and she finds the Badger as the head of the merchandise droid, who people will be buying for their kids because you don't merch. You'll be, Grizzy will be showing them with the toy in the background in a year from now. She fixes the droid factory settings. They actually use the words factory settings because, of course, when the droid comes round, he knows it's not her, and she just, because it's got white eyes. So she says, let's go to factory settings to reprogram it. Wow, such an Earth term, eh? I know they're made in factories, but wouldn't they have better wording for it than that? So she resets the droid, gets it to work on the ship. She's about to fly somewhere once all the systems are back online, and so stuns her with the stun gun. And he says, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm going to let you go, but first you have to listen. And as he says that, it ends. 30 minutes for him to get to that moment. 30 fucking minutes to get to that moment. So we have to wait till next week to find out what he says. And in between that, you have Leslie Edlund's wife bossing around as a Jedi. They go back to Cash 4. Saying it wrong. They find all the Jedi dead. Wimpy Jedi says this was a powerful Jedi who did this. And he seems to... She suggests, in not so many words, that it was Saul. He says, could it have been Saul as he turned? And she says that is a very powerful accusation. So I think we're going to get Saul being framed for this. Because he's a man. And men are bad in this show. Even though the most interesting people in this show are once again men. Which they are. I'm not lying. And that's they turn up just as Saul buggers off. And that's it. That was it. It was half an hour to get us to this point, really, where he tells her everything that we don't get to hear for another week. It was a waste. You know, I get at the beginning of the show, they were very atmospheric music. It's supposed to be very tense, but I don't care. You haven't given me anything to invest in these characters. Do you understand? There's nothing there for me to care about. So far, the only intriguing characters you've got are Smilo Ren and Sol. And it's not even their show, really. Anyway, that is it for me. Keeping this short and sweet because I've told you everything. It was very boring, not very good. It was supposed to be all setting us up for next week or the next. I don't know if the episodes are dropping, the last two are dropping at once or not. I'm not sure. But that's what this was. This was this was a story progression episode. Except, you didn't give us much. You've not given us much of a story to begin with. There's no point doing all this to find everything out in the last two episodes unless it's monumental. But I doubt it because I don't trust Disney writers. And as Smilo Ren says, as you shouldn't. Anyway, that's all for me. Bye for now.